can find that song in ERUUF wrote.
What is it called?
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. It's a Billy Taylor song.
Where is it in this?
So I'm gonna play. She said it's 10:53.
Yeah, we're on here.
Yeah, we know. We'll, Tip you, you know. Y'all ready?
Good morning. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in our opening hymn, Lead with Love by Melanie DeMore. The lyrics are on the screen. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up, don't give up, you're not alone, you're not alone. Don't you give up, don't
It's nice to have the band back. What is hope? It is the presentiment that imagination is more real and reality is less real than it looks.
It is the hunch that the overwhelming brutality of facts that oppress and repress us is not the last word. It is the suspicion that reality is more complex than the realists want us to believe.
That the frontiers of the possible are not determined by the limits of the actual. And in a miraculous and unexplained way, life is opening up creative events which will open the way to freedom and resurrection. But the two, suffering and hope, must live from each other.
Suffering without hope produces resentment and despair, but hope without suffering creates illusions, naivete, and drunkenness.
Drunkenness. So let us plant dates, even though we who plant them will never eat them. We must live by the love of what we will never see. That is the secret discipline.
It is the refusal to let our creative act be dissolved away by our need for immediate sense experience, and is a struggled commitment to the future of our grandchildren.
Such disciplined hope is what has given prophets, revolutionaries, and saints the courage to die for the future they envisage.
They make their own bodies the seed of their highest hopes.
May the light of our chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, remind us to nourish the seeds we plant for our commitment to the well-being of our immediate surroundings, and also to the future world that stretches before us, that beckons us forward.
As we embark on this sacred time together, let us open our hearts to a vision that reaches far beyond the immediacy of our own lives.
Amen. Good morning. Let's make it a powerful good morning. Good morning. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Proud mama, right? That's Devin is Christy's son, and I was acting totally like Devin's grandma this morning. Totally embarrassing Devin. I'm so proud of him. Anyway, welcome everyone to the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, or ERUUF as we like to say. My name is Reverend Jacqueline Brett. I'm the lead minister here, and whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your race, your gender, identities, whomever you love, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey or in your search for truth, for meaning, for liberation, know that you are welcome here in beloved community. And if you are visiting with us for the first or perhaps even the second or even the third time, I invite you to rise in body or spirit so that we might give you an ERUUF welcome. Welcome. And thank you all for choosing to spend your Sunday morning with us. And for those of you who are online, please enter your name in the chat if it is available to you, and someone will welcome you there as well. For those of you who have children with you, and that includes both ERUUF families and those of you who are visiting first, for visitors, your children may participate with our children in the religious exploration class. But parents, note that you are being asked to sign your children in right outside these doors in the gallery. This is a new process that we are trying, so I just want you all to know that if you would do that when we sing the children out, that would be great. And before this service on Sunday mornings, for those of you who decide that you will return again, and we hope you will, at 10 a.m., there is a class called Inquirers for visitors and newcomers that will allow you to learn some things about us, and you can share some things about yourselves as well. And so we invite you to participate in that class, which takes place every Sunday morning, and it's a different class. There are 8 in total, so there's a lot to share and a lot to learn. So we invite you to participate in those. So now would be a great time to turn down any devices you might have on your person, to put them in worship mode, as we like to say. And now let us all, I see people back there. People back there. There's seats, a whole lot of seats right here. And there's seats right there too. So come on. You're okay? Okay. All right. Oh, there's somebody who wants to come. Come on down. Come on down. Yes. Come on down. Come on down. Hi, Olivia. Yes. It's okay. She's totally welcome to sit there. She just made my heart very happy. Anyway, let's all take a minute and center ourselves into this time and place into this space. Let's all together take a collective deep breath in and let it out. And I now would like to invite our pledge co-chairs to give us some good news for today. Oh. Hi. She can come on down. Does she want to come down?
I'm Sarah Terry, and with Hillary, we are this year's Pledge Campaign co-chairs. We've been hearing from a lot of people over these last few weeks, and it's been great to hear how much people love and care for ERUUF. One of the common themes that we did hear was about transparency. Not surprisingly, ERUUFians want to know the numbers. How are we doing? Folks also wanted to talk about our vision for the budget and what will it mean if we meet our pledge goal. So the first thing I want to do is to tell you where we are today. So on this chart, the red is the dollar amounts, and the black bar is the number of pledging units or households, as I think about it. So on the dollar amount, we have $642,000 dollars worth of pledges to date from 291 pledging units, as we affectionately know them as. So, yes. This includes 16 new pledging households and 52 of our households who have increased their pledge. This is all great news. Yep. Give yourselves a round of applause. As we enter our last week of the campaign, we know that we have another about 500K to go. We're in that procrastinators challenge portion of the campaign. I know there's some of you out there. So if you've been waiting for the last minute, this is your day, this is your week, please go ahead and make a pledge. Last year, for example, we had over 350 pledging units, so up around here. And we hope to see that number go up in the next week along with the total pledge amount. And what we're really looking for is everybody, 100% participation, and everybody doing, what they can. The other thing we heard is that people support the vision that we've all talked about, the vision that we laid out here in this wonderful graphic. And whether that's paying our staff salaries that fall within the UU guidelines, because right now most of them don't, doing more social justice work outside of ERUUF's walls, or just increasing our capacity to transform lives. The goal laid out for this campaign, about 1.1 million, is just the beginning of what is needed to see this vision to fruition. And we need everyone to do their part. And then, because this moment is calling us to build beloved community in the face of very difficult times, we all need to do more. I know for Julie and I, we heard Daniel say last week in his excellent sermon, I'll give a round to Daniel, to talk about the budget. I mean, it's so exciting actually to hear about that from the pulpit. That ERUUF needs, the current sustainers need to increase their pledge by 15%. So even though we've already actually pledged, it was not 15%. And so after last week's sermon, Julie and I talked to each other, and we're going to go in and increase our pledge again. So, and I want to just say that it's super easy. I'm going to show you how easy it is. You can go on your phone, click Give Now. It's super easy. It leads you right through it. It says Pledge. This is for the pledges for the fiscal year that starts in July. And it says, take me to the action steps. And right there, you can say, pledge now, and fill in your information. If you want a t-shirt, that takes another minute or so, but you can basically fill it in really quickly and just press submit. It's that easy. So I encourage you to do that. Also, as a little PSA about switching to a new giving system, Tithely. So if you're a sustainer and you haven't switched to that new system, this would be a great time to do that. Now we know not everybody is able to increase their pledges, but for those who can, I encourage you to think about what is possible and plant your seeds today. Thank you.
I'm up next. So you're going to hear a little bit from me. So as the other co-chair, as a poor kid growing up with a learning disability, moving from rural Michigan, put all those things together, moving to fast-paced Raleigh, I found out pretty quickly how to adapt. I learned how to pay attention and weed out the really important stuff, try to simplify the hard stuff. And to some degree, those survival skills have served me well and have allowed me to be a lifelong learner of people, culture, and really processes. But if I'm being really honest, rarely ever math. So, which I think is always a funny thing when you get into like pledge drive stuff. Like there's a lot of math in there. So through the pledge season, I thought I'd share some of my observations. Connection through stories has been key. Planting seeds have been happening for nearly 60 years here at ERUUF. And the humble stories of Rick and Georgie as young parents back then, giving of their time and talents as founding members of ERUUF, getting started. It's hard to imagine as I think about my life, juggling my career, my marriage, and 2 kids. The resilience of families back then nurturing this vision is really quite impressive. Now, I also have heard stories about how growing isn't always easy. Stories of wrestling with privilege, how to approach dynamic conversations on an evolving culture, even here at ERUUF, and taking those extra steps in vulnerability to get to know someone or even have a complex conversation when maybe there's miscommunication that could be happening. Through all these stories, the passion for the future allows us to break down barriers and strive for a healthy future. However, we've also heard stories of plenty of fear and uncertainty in these unprecedented times. And we've had several people say, I wish I could increase my pledge, but there's just no way I can do it this year. And that all makes a lot of sense. Some have made it a point to say, things are really tough right now, but I'm finding a way to either maintain or even figure out how to increase pledges. Well, Sarah and I clearly don't have expectations that anyone report back to us on what your intentions are. These types of conversations have allowed us to know your commitment to this place here at ERUUF. Another theme has been technology. Sarah kind of just alluded to it in her little iPhone chat, but we've heard several of you say, you're not really good with technology. But yet, we're hearing conversations that you're sustainers and that you've navigated through many of these portals and the apps to be able to use these impressive skills. Even if the confidence isn't there, you're still doing it. So well done. Transparency. It's pretty clear, and Sarah already alluded to it, the passion for transparency in the budget is really coming through as we think specifically about our highly talented staff and how we can best support their living wages. And if you missed it, please do check out last week's sermon from Reverend Daniel. And just knowing how your intentions make a difference in what we can do for the future here at ERUUF. Sarah and I have received numerous thank yous for leading this charge, which has emphasized the importance for the future. The legacy of those who have also led in the past has also planted those seeds and also has shown what we're building together. We also would be remiss if we didn't thank the numerous of people who have said yes to us along the way, who have said, and I see many of you in the room as well, who have said yes when we needed some help throughout this pledge season. So thank you very much. So as a longtime Lutheran before I came to ERUUF, nearly 18 years ago, I strived to be a longtime learner. And as I expanded my learning, this was a place that I believed I could continue to be that lifelong learner. So we can continue to grow and influence and change the world. As we close out this final week of our pledge campaign, we invite you in coffee hour to have some celebratory cake with us. And Sarah and I will be at the table. You'll see some more spring-like balloons to welcome you. And you'll be able to ask any questions that you might have about the pledge campaign or any questions that might seem silly, might seem not important, but please do ask. I know for a handful of years, I didn't know how to physically pledge. So there's some stuff you just might not know. So nonetheless, you want to be able to take the courage to do the things that we need to do here at ERUUF. So I want to, before I close, set a challenge. During coffee hour, my challenge to you, knowing we're talking about connection, is think about going to connect with somebody with your piece of cake and asking them what are things that you have enjoyed about ERUUF from either the past or things that you look forward to in the future. That way our connection continues to bridge us together, and so we know how to look forward. It's truly been an honor to be part of hearing your stories and getting to know more of you a bit more. So thank you for this time and the energy you put into this place, and I'm truly honored to be a part of it. Thank you.
And now it is time for all ages. Come on down, yes, please. I like a little backup music. Safely, my friends, safely. Come on down. It is good to see your faces. So we've got a story today. I'm going to start telling it as we come down. I'm going to say, this book is called Love Grows Everywhere, but before anything can grow, what is something that needs to happen? What's one thing that needs to happen? You have to plant a seed. Oh my gosh, you went right to the heart of it. You have to plant a seed. What's something else you have to do? You have to water the seed, yes. Is there something else? You have to wait and let the sunshine shine on it. Did you have something else?
Overall, because of all of these, I was just going to say, just to make the cooker, you have to care for it.
Oh, you have to tend to it and care for it, and that helps it move a little bit quicker? Yes, all of this is important. And all month, if you've noticed, all of our stories have been about planting, about growing, about seeds. Oh my gosh, I see some people I haven't seen in a moment. Good to see you. Anyway, so this story is called Love Grows Everywhere. And the idea is that love grows everywhere and can grow everywhere. You see a bunch of different places in this everywhere. What? Horses? Yes, hopefully even for horses. Now, I don't speak horse, so I can't guarantee that horses love, but I hope they do. It grows from country farm to city square, from desert village hot and dry to mountain home where eagles fly. Love grows any place. It doesn't need a fancy space. No matter if the walls are bare, love only needs our thought and care. Now, is there only one person in this room, in this picture? No, there's a lot of people in this room. And kind of like Hillary said earlier, connection is important. It takes us doing stuff together sometimes to make sure love grows everywhere. Yes, thought and care, like you said, are all love needs to help it grow like tiny seeds. Who said seeds? You said seeds. And in my mind, like the connection is kind of like the water and the sunshine. That might seem nothing much at first, till up into the light they burst. Does it take a little bit of time?
Yes.
Yeah. What are you going to say?
I planted seeds this morning.
You planted seeds this morning? Oh my gosh, yeah?
I watered my sunflowers and my zinnias and my cucumbers.
Oh my
They are
gosh.
this blue.
Fabulous,
I
yes?
just planted roses yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
From my seaside.
Yeah?
I have a great garden.
You have a great garden?
I'm going to get a cherry blossom tree.
Very cool. Now see, I am very bad at planting, yes?
We have daffodils at our school.
Daffodils at your school? I do love
Really,
daffodils.
really bad at planting. Maybe I should give you my raspberries.
Maybe. Okay, Kira, then we got to keep rolling, yeah?
I had a friend that planted a tree not close to her house.
Excellent.
Planted it a long time ago.
And it takes a long time to grow a tree, just like it takes a long time to grow a congregation. Tying it back together, see? That's for you all. Love will find a way to brighten any cloudy day, a gentle hug, a perfect kiss, a song to bring back times you miss. A moment shared, a helping hand when things don't turn out quite as planned. How many of you have ever had something that did not turn out the way you planned it? Yeah, sometimes you need that thoughtfulness when they don't turn out as planned. A funny joke to bring good cheer, a kind word whispered in your ear. Love grows on the street and reaches out to those we meet. A neighbor from across the way, a friend from school who'd like to play. In my mind, this is like, we're growing love here at ERUUF, but you know what, ideally? Does that love just stay here at ERUUF? No, it travels outside of ERUUF. It travels into the community, into the rest of our lives. I didn't mean that to sound mad scientist. Sorry, every once in a while I get carried away. But there are others we might see who need our help or charity. Others here, others outside of here. As flowers turn toward the sun, love's friendly smile greets everyone. Look how lovingly this person is giving care. Love lifts hearts and minds and comes in many different kinds, just like we have many different kinds of plants, even that you mentioned, from flowers to trees. The kind that grows in peace and shade, the kind too bright to ever fade, even when it takes 60 years or so. There's love so great it fills the room, and love that takes its time to bloom. And also I note, sometimes things grow at different stages, because ERUUF has been great, and it's been different over 60 years. But each is precious from the start, a miracle that melts the heart. Love may hide away when times are hard and skies are gray, when hope seems nowhere to be found, or buried under stony ground. How many people have had a hard time? How many people have been sad? Yeah. It's real. It's real. But if we're brave or bold, perhaps we'll dare to show how much we really care. It is rhyming. Very astute. A kind of magic happens then, and love begins to grow again. Love grows everywhere, enough for all, a gift to share. Budding, branching, leaves unfurled, love will make a brighter world. You know, it's the same message. In a way, it's always the same message, right? How we make the world a more loving place. So, now I'm going to bravely journey forth with all of you. Make sure you have already checked in if you are coming with us to RE and you have your name tags, and stop and get them, and I will see you there in just a moment.
And greet your neighbor, especially someone you may not know yet.
I invite you to join me now in the spirit of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life, we remember during times of deep concern, even when life pulls us off center, love invites us home. Even when challenges seem to be overwhelming, love calls our name. As we answer the call of love, we give thanks for the many ways we can find a sense of connection and fellowship here, and remember the fire of our commitment to bring hope and work for justice, to care for the living and breathing earth, and to live in a spirit of unity and compassion. As a people who care for this world and for one another, we lift up our joys and concerns. Melissa Everly Cossack asks us to hold her in our prayers as she experiences health challenges. We hold in our hearts all those impacted by recent storms, fires, and other natural disasters. We hold in our hearts people all the world over who have been forgotten, who are marginalized, who are in crisis, and who may have lost hope. We hold in our hearts those in our community and in our own families who suffer, who mourn, and who face the everyday difficulties of life. we also lift up all those celebrating joys, milestones, and successes in life at this time. With a spirit of gratitude, we celebrate the joy of being in community. May we always work to offer a place of belonging for all who come here. On this day, let us pause in this sacred moment, center in the heart, offer our prayers and blessings, and breathe in the silence together. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
We're going to remain seated this morning for our meditation hymn. We are number 1051 in the teal hymnal, and the lyrics are on the screen.
Star
Sometimes in one of the Inquirer's classes on worship, folks always wonder, how do we pull all this together? And this is such a classic example, Wendy. We talk about worship, and then Wendy comes and says, well, I think based on what you have said you want to preach about, that this would work, this would work, this would work, and sometimes I'm not sure, and this really worked. Thank you. Thank you so much. You should all know that this past week I was really, really sick and in bed most of the week. And so what you have here in this sermon is what you have here. So be forewarned. I'm just letting you know. And for some of my worship associates and seminarians who are here, I was feverishly folding up. I always teach them that you have to fold up the corners of your sheets so that you're not flipping over pages. And so I was sitting back there feverishly folding up the corners of my sheets because I knew they would call me on it later. So anyway, all right. So I've been spending a great deal of time thinking about this vision here that we have cast. Not only its ambition, its possibility, but whether we might see it come to pass. And the high probability that we shall not. And not for lack of trying. Some of you have expressed to me how very much you long to see the fruit of your labors in this lifetime before you leave this plane of existence, and the deep, heart-wrenching disappointment that you likely shall not. I hear you. It is challenging to work for something that we ourselves might never see. Some of you in this room have been laboring to make a world such as this possible, not as some novel new pursuit, but for decades of your lives. More decades than some of us in this room have actually lived. Your work has even laid the foundation for our being together today, whether it has been the literal foundations of this very building or the ongoing creation of the foundations of beloved community in the here and now in this space. Not a community that is perfect. We are, after all, merely human, but a covenantal community on a journey with agreements about how we shall travel together as we go about the endeavor of creating a place that is at best a microcosmic ongoing attempt at realizing this vision of the world, even if we don't have crocodiles, which is in that vision of the world. Though we have had ponies and snakes and lizards and bacon here on campus in that vision of the world. So who knows, maybe we might be visited by, is it Lyle the crocodile? We might receive a visitation by a crocodile in times ahead, who knows? And yet knowing all this, what are we to do? Do we not continue in our work for a future that we ourselves will not see? Those of us who bear witness to the frustration of younger generations who with indignation have cried out to us, how could you leave the world like this for us? Why didn't y'all do better? Why didn't y'all fix this mess you've made? This, when some of us know how hard we've worked, how hard we continue to labor both spiritually and physically For this, the world our hearts know is possible. A world where such righteous indignation of our young can and should exist. Can I get an amen? Did y'all hear what I said? We need our young to hold us accountable. So if there's nothing else that I hope to leave you with this morning, it is a clear understanding that the vision of the world we believe is possible is not solely about a pledge drive for today, next week, or next year. It is about an unrelenting commitment to plant, to water, to nourish the seeds that would grow into such a world, especially when the seeds lie deep in the rich darkness of the earth and we wonder whether anything is growing at all. And even more so, when we realize that while some seeds have blossomed into beauty and life, others have withered and faded and are not coming into bloom. And sometimes that is not a bad thing. So we collect ourselves, learn how to do better, and begin again. Because that is the way of things, and it too is growth, part of our evolving journey in community. You see, what we have declared here, and for those of you who might not know, this whole congregation, 400 people in this congregation, created this vision of the world back in February. We did it in real time during worship. It was quite amazing. But this vision is not just about our own lives, though it is so very sweet when a hard-won victory comes to pass in our times. But this is ultimately a call to embrace a deep wisdom that asks us to consider also the lives of those who came before us and those who will come long after us. A wisdom that teaches us that we do not live in isolated existence, but are part of an interdependent continuum, a long and unfolding story where the past, the present, and future are interwoven, where each generation inherits both the blessings and the burdens of those who came before. The ancient and great law of the Haudenosaunee people and the teachings of the 7 grandfathers among the Anishinaabe, both native nations of these lands we now call North America, understood all this in their essential teachings that in every deliberation we must consider the impact on the 7th generation. It was the notion that every decision we make today, every word we speak, every action we take echoes forward into the future, affecting not only our children, our grandchildren, but also the generations that we shall never meet. In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we hold sacred the interdependence and interconnectedness of all existence as one of our core values, and 7-generation thinking is a powerful expression of that value. As a holistic view of life, it is both a moral and spiritual call for an understanding that every choice, every policy, every act of kindness or injustice is intertwined, interconnected with the fate of the earth, all beings, all communities, and thus shapes the future. It is a perspective that is profoundly relevant today as we confront even more systemic inequities. When the wolves of oppression and marginalization are now howling at the doors of more of us than we might have believed would be possible. It is a vision of time that extends far beyond the immediate and ephemeral, in which we are called to act now with foresight, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to create this world we have collectively cast a vision for. We often speak and think of justice, compassion, and equity as if they're qualities that belong solely to the present, and that the world here is solely about the present. And we despair when it appears not to materialize now, or when it all appears to be sliding backwards, or appears to be taking a shape we had never considered or even wanted. But this is a deep commitment to long-term stewardship and collective responsibility, rather than acting out of immediate self-interest or reacting solely to the concerns of the present moment. We are invited to think more expansively, to create a world where justice is not just a distant dream, but a living, breathing reality, a world where marginalized voices are not only heard, but are central in shaping our shared future. A future that seven-generation thinking invites us to create. A future built on values of equity, justice, pluralism, interdependence, transformation, and ultimately love. Like the child said, yeah, love. Isn't that wonderful when our kids know, yeah, love, I know that already. When we work toward these values as our ongoing commitment, we are not merely responding to the needs of the moment. We are cultivating a world aimed toward compassionate and sustainable living, a world aimed toward the dignity and worth of every individual for generations to come. You know, yesterday, the Coming of Age group had their retreat day. And what has been going on with the Coming of Age youth is that they have had, and Coming of Age, for those of you who do not know, is a program that we have our youth participate in. And at the end of that year-long program, they are invited to create a credo or their statement of belief, because they get to decide for themselves what they believe. And throughout this year, we have had some of our elders meeting with our youth once a month, and they have been having a grand old time. Virginia Williams has really become like a very popular elder among that group, along with some others as well. It has been sweet to hear about this. And this is what I mean when I say, when we consider a long view, the view of being in relationship with our young, the view of thinking that we have something to offer that may resonate into the future, we can see that short-term gains don't have a place in this at all. Short-term gains can ignore the suffering of others, that intentionally or unintentionally, these short-term gains can harm others and are not gains at all. They are actually wounds inflicted on the fabric of our collective future. To create what we have declared here requires our honest self-reflection and spiritual practice, both communal and individual, along with our commitment to dismantle oppressive structures, whether they be in our institutions, our communities, or within ourselves. Seven-generation practice to create this world would involve working toward reconciling and healing the collective wounds of the past, while also planting seeds that grow into better futures for us. And I will not mince words, and you all have not ever known me to mince words. Who said that? Someone said, that is right. But this is hard. This is hard. And it means confronting collective pain and owning mistakes and wrong actions. And that is difficult, my friends. It's uncomfortable. It means giving up some of our treasured ways of being or thinking or having. And so it might feel easier to not be bothered, to not face my or even your pain, to be the spoiled kid on the playground who says you can't play with certain toys, or who decide to take the toys and go home. And while they're at it, they take yours too. And do everything to make sure that you will not place them in this uncomfortable position again. Can I get an amen? Amen. Our spiritual journeys are a process of growth and learning and transformation. As we work to uncover truth and meaning, we are also invited to approach our wounds, both personal and collective, not simply as failures, but as opportunities for healing. Our wounds, when acknowledged, can become the places where light enters, transforming our despair into hope. But irrespective of the actions taken, at the heart of 7-generation thinking lies our interconnectedness. That we are all part of an intricate web that spans cultures, histories, and futures. Ultimately, futures where our communities, our nation, and our world are guided by the wisdom as well as the mistakes of our ancestors, along with the promise of tomorrow if we make it so. So we can think of it this way. If we commit ourselves to the idea that every act of care, every act of generosity is a gift to the future, our collective efforts become acts of sacred responsibility. And this need not be a burden because it is an invitation to create a legacy of love and sustainability that transcends our immediate circumstances. You know, every once in a while, someone approaches me with an idea here of something they would like to see happen. And most of the time, even if people don't think I feel this way, I'm often like really wanting it to happen also. But I have to consider the unintended consequences, such as a new precedent that might be set if we did that thing. For instance, if we started playing, someone wanted to do a volleyball tournament on the plaza, what would be the unintended consequence of that? And some of you might think, well, that's not a bad idea. Actually, I might think that's not a bad idea, but it might also have some negative consequences. And so what I do is bring in the wisdom of others, such as our coordinating team or the board of trustees or some committee of the board or even others when planning how to respond to a situation, because we are a community. We are interconnected and interwoven, and one thing that happens over here might unintentionally impact something over there. So we are doing this together. And all this out of the understanding that the choices we make will ripple out like echoes through time, touching lives now, and some choices touching those of our descendants in very real ways. Such understanding calls us to be both mindful, wise, and very courageous. And at the same time, to recognize that what we seek to create for tomorrow is not a distant ideal, but a daily practice, a series of choices that reflect our commitment to caring for one another and for this earth of ours. This journey we are on is both a personal and communal responsibility. And every moment, we have the opportunity to make choices that resonate into the future and impact the world beyond our immediate sight. When we stand up for a marginalized neighbor, when we challenge and call out unjust policies, you are contributing to a legacy of hope, a legacy of healing. Our actions are the seeds that will bloom in the lives of our descendants. And with every decision we make, we are not merely shaping our present, we are nurturing a future that reflects our highest values. Today, I think most of us here know, we are standing at the crossroads of history and possibility. And it is easy to feel overwhelmed by the magnitude of the challenges we now face. And yet, we are not the first to face hard challenges. We can draw strength from those who understood the interconnectedness of shared struggles, and that our shared actions, small and large, resonate beyond the present moment. As I said earlier, we hold dear our principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence, and also our principle of the inherent worth and dignity of all people. Those were the very principles that drew me to this tradition, and perhaps they drew some of you as well, or perhaps they have been what has kept you here. I know they've kept me here. Today, as we consider the ancient wisdom of Indigenous seven-generation thinking, we also reaffirm our commitment to our belief in the inherent worth and dignity, our commitment to interdependence. We acknowledge that our lives are not solitary journeys, but parts of a grand ongoing story that stretches back through the generations of our ancestors and also forward to the promises of our future. And it is with this in mind that our actions must be guided by vision that is both humble and bold. Vision that embraces an enduring commitment to the well-being of all as we acknowledge the lessons of the past, the realities of the present, and our hopes for tomorrow. I invite you, each of you now, to join me for a moment of silent reflection on the ways in which your daily choices impact the world beyond your immediate sight. I invite you to reflect for a moment on the following questions. What seeds am I planting in my relationships and in my community? How can I act in ways that acknowledge the lessons and the blessings of those who came before and create a better future for those yet to be born? And in what ways can I work individually and collectively to care for our planet and for others with a long-term vision. And when you are ready, bring yourself back to the space. So let us commit ourselves to a practice of deep, thoughtful stewardship of our friendships, stewardship of our communities, of our workplaces, and our natural world. And as we leave this sacred space today, let us carry with us the understanding that this world, our great project here at ERUUF is a long-term endeavor, a journey that spans generations, the evidence of which we have in the McKinney's Ross. 3 generations of which are here most Sundays and quite active on other days. And so may we too embody the spirit of 7-generation thinking in all that we do, nurturing a legacy of hope, resilience, and love. My dear friends, let us make it so. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. And so this is a time in the service where I get to say to you yet again, if you have not yet offered a pledge, if you have not yet done your little bit, it doesn't have to be a lot, it can be a small bit, to contribute to this, which contributes to all of this, please do so. You will find pledge cards in your pew racks. You just have to point your device at the pledge card. And if this seems really challenging, you can go to the office and someone will show you how to do it. And I will confess something here. I am a sustainer, and I haven't switched over to Ticely yet. But I will. I tried, and I thought, oh, this is too confusing. But I will get it together this week because I intend to increase my pledge by at least 15%. So if I can do it, you can do it. The staff will tell you I'm really bad at the technology. And I ask this of you, those of you, and I've done this before, who are not even members here, but who are grateful that we are here, and who want to see us continue, who would like to see that happen. We invite you to not only join us, but we invite you to support this happening. And if you cannot or prefer not to offer a pledge, which, as I've said before, is not something you pay today, your pledge would not begin until July 1st. If you prefer to offer just a one-time gift, our greeters will come forward and pass the collection pouches. You can come forward. And you can place a gift there. You can also point your device at this screen so that you can offer a one-time gift that way.
You
Okay, I wanted to hear the bass. You were about to do a thing there. But anyway, I'm sorry. You're just getting everybody up. Okay. Oh, I give thanks. I give thanks. It is so grateful. I'm so grateful to be in community with all of you. So grateful for all of the many gifts that you bring here. The gift of your very presence, the gift of music, the gift of your singing. Thank you all so very much. And I'll turn it back over. Is there more? There's more, right? There's more.
Our closing hymn is When the Spirit Says Do. Don't need your hymnal, just look at the screen. We're going to sing it a little bit differently than we do. This is When the Spirit Says Do. So please rise and body your spirit. Yes. Do it.
So our closing words today are prophecy and a proverb from Indigenous elders. The prophecy of the Hopi people says, "Together we can end the old ways that destroy and bring the new day that gives life." And the proverb of the Dakota people says, "We will be known forever by the tracks we leave." Be of good courage, my friends. Go in peace, go in love, and know that you are not alone. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.